Welcome to Pressure Points. Our topic is Tesla earnings. And as of this recording, which is just after the earnings call ended, the stock is up about 4% in after hours. And the pressure point is that 4% is a surprise. I think if you look at the just reported numbers and look at the outlook, and the pressure point is effectively what is Elon painting? What picture is he painting about the vision of this company in 2026, 27, and 28? And specifically around how autonomy and Optimist is going to accelerate not only revenue growth, but profitability by orders of magnitude. And I think we'll dig into that, but that really is the pressure point. And just taking a shift downward and looking at the actual results and some of the commentary about 2025, I'm surprised to see the stock up 4%. The automotive gross margins ex credits were 13.6%. The whisper number was 15%. That's the lowest number we've seen in 5 years. They missed earnings about 67 cents a share if you back out this benefit that they had on crypto, and the street was at 76 cents. They missed revenue by like 7%. And so kind of in a normal circumstance, this would be negative, and the stock initially opened up down several percent, but then kind of quickly rallied back. I think part of that rally back was commentary on in their slide deck that they talked about rolling out or starting to roll out supervised FSD in Europe and China, or they continue to believe that they'll roll out supervised FSD in Europe and China this year. And I think it started to build a little bit of the momentum that went into the call, which is this idea of what the longer term picture looks like. And of course, this movement in the stock is testimony that most Tesla investors really don't care about 2025. It is all about 26, 27, and 28. I want to make sure we just kind of fill out the picture on 2025 before we get to the pressure point of the things that are coming, because there were some important updates. One was that they're going to start paid the robo-taxi. This is not the cybercab, but the robo-taxi service in Austin. It sounds like in June. Now, they did reference this as a toe in the water, so that could be several vehicles. It could be a few hundred, but it doesn't seem to be a big deployment. But that is well ahead of what my expectations were, which was we probably wouldn't see a paid service until later on, the end of this year into next year. And so that shows that they're willing to move a little bit faster in terms of FSD on that side. Second is that for the opportunity around the growth in what the delivery growth expectations were. Recall last quarter that he guided to 20 to 30% delivery growth. The street took that. Their response was, we'll model for 14%. So people really didn't believe that. All they said this quarter is that growth will be higher in 2025, delivery growth. That's a pretty easy bar because it was up 1% in calendar 24. So my sense is that that was a pretty clear back off. They didn't get the question on the call. They didn't address that 20 to 30%. So I think for all practical purposes, for 2025, they backed off of that growth expectation. They did say that new lower price vehicle would be available in 2025. Now, there's some debate about the timing of that, is they're mixing some language around launch and the beginning of manufacturing and kind of interchanging some, making some changes to some language 3 months ago. But 3 months ago, they said that it would be launched in the middle of this year. So it sounds like we'll catch some of those new vehicles. Still not clear exactly what that is, but by the end of calendar 2025. So those were, in terms of, I think, kind of the substance. I think lack of clarity in terms of the commentary on what profitability is going to look like in calendar 25 kind of leads up to the CFO's kind of encapsulating comments towards the end of the call, which was that calendar 25 is going to be referred to it as a pivotal year, laying the groundwork for their growth going forward. And that groundwork, of course, or belief in that groundwork, is why the stock is up despite what I think was largely a messy and kind of a difficult outlook for calendar 25. So as far as what that 26 and 7 and 8 look like, you probably have heard now the adjectives that he's used. Referred to 26 as being epic, 27 and 28 as ballistic, ridiculous, and I think bananas. I've been in the investment industry for a long time. I don't know like what the financial definition of things going bananas, ballistic, and ridiculous is, but I think it just testimony to Elon's ability to sell this vision. And he was heavy on it, of course. It's hard to gauge how aggressive he was on this opportunity versus other times. He's been really optimistic before, but it felt like this was even an order of magnitude. And so, for example, he's talked in the past about this being the most valuable company. He talked today about this being potentially, there's a path, it's a difficult path, but as valuable as the third through sixth most other valuable companies in the world. And so the kind of that language, that very optimistic language, and he's pinning all of that on what can happen with autonomy and about around Optimist, and specifically around autonomy. He talked about they are talking to other automotive makers to license that technology. He said people just can't conceptualize the economic gain that will come from this and the potential value that can be created from it. Obviously, Optimist is a component or a version of autonomy, and he said that they're going to be producing about 1,000 per month now. Early next year, they'll start kind of a run rate of 10,000, and they'll be in customer hands, he believes, by the end of 2026. My read on that is probably in customer hands in sometime in 2028. And so we're still a long ways away as far as the profitability on kind of this vision here, specific maybe to Optimist. He said that right now it costs about $22K to build a robot. He said that that doesn't mean that's where they will price it. He said they'll price it where the market prices it, but he thinks that they can sell a lot of these and believes that most of the company's value eventually will be tied into Optimus. So I can just say from my own experience and talking to people around Tesla, my sense is that Optimist it's a real opportunity, but it's still a long ways away. And I just kind of put that in a context to his comments. But overall, I think this quarter, the takeaway, the bottom line takeaway is just the power of the vision. And it is a very powerful vision. I do believe that Tesla is one of the most innovative companies when it comes to their vision around AI, and not only in the digital world, but the physical world, and how they can bring some products to life that can have a profound impact on humanity. And so I'm definitely there. I'm struggling a little bit with the stock in the near term relative to how we get to the long term, because the long term will take a little bit longer than we think to get there, but be more profound in the end. On behalf of Pressure Points, I'm Gene. Bye for now.